Jason Lee Podcast.
Welcome back to an all-new episode of the Jason Lee Podcast. Woo-woo! Baby, if you don't have a community to clap for you, get a sound effect box. It is a new day here at the Jason Lee Podcast. It feels so good to be back to work, although we're kind of halfway back because, as you know, the Jason Lee Show is on hiatus. We're taking a break. That's why Marina's half of my bullpen's not here, but Rob is here. Rob gonna always be here. So for all of y'all on the team, don't feel yourself. For all of y'all on the team that don't show up for me, Rob is gonna always show up. But look, you know, there's a lot going on in the world, so we brought the podcast back early because we want to be out here talking. I have to say, you know that I'm in an election cycle right now because I've been running for office for the last 10 weeks. That's why I have been a more demure. This word has popped up on the internet. Now everybody with a GED like me is using it. Now I'm more demure than I used to be. And I want you to just be very careful when you're on the internet saying Jason Lee's changed. Jason Lee is not who he used to be. I am not all the way who I used to be because I have evolved. However, I'm in a campaign. I can't scare them people. You know, I gotta temper myself until I get through the election because I am running and I am very focused on winning. I will be winning on November 5th. So if you're in the Stockton and surrounding areas and you want to join my campaign, please reach out to me. You can go ahead and email the campaign, text the campaign. But if you're in the Stockton area and you're in my district, District 6, baby, it's a fight for our lives out there right now. And I'm telling you right now, just like on Wildin' Out, I'm going to come out victorious because I am the champ. I was the champ of the black squad on Wildin' Out. I'm going to be the champ in them Stockton streets. Why? Because what I'm fighting for, what we are fighting for is important. And as we look at what's happening online and we look at politics, we're so enamored by President Trump, Vice President Kamala Harris, this, that, whatever, whether Joe Biden is asleep or has senile. We are following the national politics, which we should. But you need to know what's going on in your neighborhoods, and that is why I always bring up my own campaign because the city council, city government, mayor, all that stuff, judges, DAs, that is the stuff that you're going to feel the most. Your lights ain't working, potholes, dogs loose on the street, murder, you know, not having access to amenities. That's all stuff that happens locally. Now, the president, that's whether or not people want to bomb us from other countries, whether your loved ones who live in another country can come and stay over, all those type of national political things. That's important. What sets the tone for how the states kind of start gaslighting you around issues. You know, the national politics is important, but you got to stay focused on your local. So you see me in this city council race. What do you think of it all? I mean, because don't you wake up some days and go, why is Jason being in the city council?
No, not at all. Being that I've known you for a very long time, I know how passionate you are about where you come from and the experience you've had growing up. And that's why I keep saying I think this should be a case study of how people who are really passionate around issues in cities that they're from, or just passionate about politics in general, who aren't traditional politicians, can come in and make effective change in small communities. And I really, really do think that once you win, this will be an example to other people like, oh, I can go to my community, go back, reach back, and make a difference in a real way.
Yeah, and it feels good. Somebody like me who used to run the streets, now going back to run the city. I mean, it's a full circle moment. I have some big surprises. I'm bringing out the big dogs. I'll say one really quick. I did Raven Simone's podcast the other day with her and her wife, Miranda. She's agreed to come on the Jason Lee Show. I can't wait because then I get to be me in my environment and ask the questions that I want and give the criticisms I want. But she offered to come to Stockton and help on the campaign.
I love it.
So I'm thinking of ways of incorporating her because literacy is a big deal, and bring her out there. We can create the conversations. But look, a lot going on. I want to say to everybody out there, please make sure, regardless if you're in Stockton or not, if you're in the United States, please register to vote. If you don't know whether you're eligible or not, or if you think you're not eligible, or you don't know how or where to vote, just Google, where do I register to vote in my neighborhood or in my community? Go register to vote. If you are black and brown, if you are a woman, you need to be registering to vote right now because this is the time for those of you who got issues on the ballot. Freedom is on the ballot. Right to choose what you do with your body is on the ballot. Right to choose who you love is on the ballot. Accountability, transparency, the government is on the ballot. At this point, if your only thing you're thinking about is a STEMI and whether or not Kamala Harris's crowd was bigger than Trump's or if Martin Luther King's crowd was bigger than Trump's, like you're getting caught up in the bullshit, please drill down your focus, get laser focused on what's in front of you, but also find out what elections are going on in your neighborhood. When you go there, don't be like I used to do, get the ballot, check off president, and then put it in the box. Go down that whole thing. And if you don't know who to vote for, close your eyes, pray, do like this, and whatever your finger lands, vote for that person. Just make sure you vote, right?
No, please don't do that.
Do your research. I'm just saying, like, worst case scenario, if you do not research, at least like, like the Ouija board where you just move your hand over and wherever it stops, that's where you vote. If you don't do the research. Okay, and if you're in Stockton, I'm supporting Christina Fugazi for mayor. I'm supporting Mario Enriquez for district, I think District 4 or District 2. I know I'm District 6. And please vote smart. Vote. All right, look, before we get into the show, I want to talk about national politics. First of all, Kamala Harris became the first female Black nominee for the Democratic Party, so she's going to get her flowers right now. Had to give her flowers.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Had to give you your flowers because never in our wildest dreams would we have thought this close to a first Black male president that we'd have potentially a first Black female president. But Kamala Harris has secured the nomination of the Democratic Party. What do you think about that?
I think it's empowering. I think it's a beautiful thing. And like I've said this before too, we don't often see opportunities for ourselves until we see someone else do it. So again, all these little girls, whether they're Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, now they see that they can have that seat. I mean, they've seen it before when another woman ran, but this is the first time somebody's actually been put in as the nominee.
And look, I've known Kamala Harris now for a little bit. I've gotten to know her. When I think about everybody that's running, we just interviewed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We are getting ready to interview Dr. Cornel West, who's also running for president. We have talked to the Trump campaign, and we've reached out many times to Kamala Harris and the vice president's office. So everybody knows that we've opened up the platform to everybody who wants to come and talk to us. But I have to tell you that, Kamala Harris is not perfect. And everybody thinks that I've endorsed her. I've not endorsed Kamala Harris. I haven't endorsed anybody. And I've been equally critical of every single person. I've just been uplifting Kamala Harris because it is such a monumental moment to have a woman, a Black Asian American woman, running for the highest position in our government. But she ain't perfect. And what I keep telling everybody that's been calling me is that I'm going to call cap when I need to call cap, regardless of what people think, because I'm not playing party politics. The reason why I'm running for city council is because people put politics over the people, and this is our union. This is our country, our government. It's not theirs. It's not hers or his. It's all of ours, all of yours. And the only way it works is if we get active. And so I think the way you get active is not just by participating, but you also got to hold people accountable. I wanted to let the dust settle because there was such a euphoric moment when Donald Trump was bullying a Freudian slip or not. When Donald Trump was bullying a very senior, mature Joe Biden, Joe Biden, who people think has lightweight dementia, falls off bikes, sleeping in meetings, doesn't remember what year he's in. I think he just got to the point where it was time to put that cow out in the pasture. No disrespect. I like Joe. You've seen me with videos on social media meeting with the president. I like the president. And he's done a lot for the country. But unfortunately, when it came to running against Donald Trump, he was a weaker option. I knew that. You knew that. We all knew that. But we didn't want to call it out because this is less about Biden and Trump. This is about democracy or nah. And when we looked at the fight, I didn't want to add to any public bashing of what I think was the last hope we had to hold on to the democracy that we had. Now that he's left and Kamala's come in, she's re-energized the Democratic base and women and young people and people of color and minorities, and people are it's starting to feel like a real fight now. Now, that said, there's a new fight online because Stephen A. Smith has called out Kamala Harris just today. And I have to tell you, I've been very critical of Stephen A. And Stephen A., don't text me. We still got issues with what you said about wifey Rihanna. But Stephen A. says something today that you might be surprised at what I have to say about it. Take a look.
Now, Joe Biden stepped aside as the presumptive Democratic nominee on July 21st. Okay? Now I'm going to look at this right now. I'm looking at my calendar because I just want to make sure. July 21st was a Sunday. We've had 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 1 day since Joe Biden stepped aside. The only damn place we've seen Kamala Harris is at pep rallies. What's up? Somebody got to say something. And it can't just be the conservatives. Right is right. I'm talking to my sister here. Come on now. You running for the presidency of the United States of America. You got my vote. You running for the presidency of the United States of America. What you hiding for? And I mean hiding in plain sight. Somebody got to say it. Somebody got to say it. Now, you can't be running for the presidency of the United States. Not one single press conference, not one single one-on-one sit-down interview where somebody gets to question you about the questions that we ask. That's not fair. That's not fair. And if you're a conservative and you out there lambasting her for it, ridiculing her for it, trying to torment her for it or whatever, it is perfectly within your right to do so. All of you anti-conservatives out there, shut the hell up. That's a valid point. It ain't valid to bring up a blackness or an Indian heritage and to try to point to things of that nature. That's nonsense. But to ask her about her record, because she is attached to the Biden record, is definitely apropos, especially when you were bragging about the record. We talked about Biden being a transformative president. Well, stand on it then.
I see no lie. I see no lie. And Charlemagne recently was talking to, what's his name, Carl from ABC News, and he said something similar. You know, we all want Kamala to win, but we also want her to be accountable to the American people and answer questions. See, I've told you all before on this podcast, everybody thought that I had put my head so far up the administration's ass that I couldn't actually see the trees from the forest. No, let's be very clear. She has not sat down and done an interview where she's been asked hard questions. We want to know what her thoughts are on what's happening in Gaza. We want to know what her thoughts are on if America is racist or not. We want to know what her thoughts are on the economy and the fact that this inflation is so out of control that even me with a whole bunch of money is at a point where I can't even take it anymore. And California is looking really crazy. I want to know what she thinks about Sonia Massey. I want to know what she thinks about education. I want to know what she thinks about funding black businesses or creating opportunities for black-owned businesses. I want to know, Kamala, why you raised $300 million in a campaign and haven't spent 1%, even 1% with black-owned media. So when we talk about DEI and inclusion and diversity and investing in black or making sure that we have an equitable playing field, you got to play the part too. So I don't think you being called out by Stephen A. Smith was wrong. In fact, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to tell you right now publicly that I have told your team, I have told the White House on numerous amount of times what I felt privately about how you all tend to fall short of being connected to the pulse of conversations that we all are having. Now, I will tell you, you have a great social team, but you should not be able to win the highest offices in the land playing social media wars and who can create the best colorful social media posts and who can freedom, I can't lose. We know Beyonce let you use her song. This is not the Obama era where you get to ride on the hope of a slave and win the position because black folks who aren't given much, no reparations or anything, have to come and fight to save democracy. I do believe that the black vote and black people are always in this political ping pong between the parties because you need our vote. And as Robert Kennedy Jr. said on this show, our vote has been important for a long time, but you can't only try to prioritize our interests at the moment where you need it the most and then go out trying to gaslight us into believing that you're about diversity when your own campaign ain't doing it. Now, God forbid, Robert F. Kennedy or Trump start buying ads from black-owned media, then what will you say? That we're just a cooning platform? No. You all are spending that $300 million, even if you did 25% of that or a third of that in media, you're spending $100 million with media that's not owned by black people. Therefore, you are not closing the gap of wealth in this country as it relates to my industry, the industry that I pay lots of taxes for. And so to Stephen's point, I'm going to add that onto it. But yes, you do need to sit down and be accountable. Even if it's not with me, go sit down with Charlemagne. Go sit down with Joe Budden. Go sit down with Lil Boosie. Go sit down with Sexy Red. Shit, I wouldn't care if you sat down with a homeless person, let them ask you about housing and homelessness, which is out of control in this country. But what I don't do is I don't believe that Stephen A is wrong, that Charlemagne is wrong, or that even I am wrong for saying you need to be accountable. Because now that the dust is settling, we want answers. Now, let me be very clear. That does not mean that I support Trump. That does not mean that I support Robert F. Kennedy, because I ain't saying that. But we are in the world of what's the best of both evils. And I believe we need to align with where our values are and where the issues are that are important to us, our friends and our family and our neighbors. So if you know me, you know where that is. But it doesn't, but I feel it's unfair. I feel like we're being forced to take in the cousin we don't necessarily want to spend the night at our house. Well, what's the alternative if we don't? The whole family gonna fail. That's how I really feel. And look, if I get uninvited to the White House, I've had enough eggnog. I've stolen enough napkins. I don't need any chicken and waffles. I've heard the band. I even know the military people assigned to the White House. And I go in there, how you doing? Like, I know you now. I don't care about none of that. What I care about for this next 80 days is that we have a vice president who is smart, beautiful, talented, educated. I mean, I don't believe she can't answer questions. I think any interview she does, she's going to kill it because she's just that girl. But you got to do it. You can't keep winning on speeches and colorful pastel pantsuits and popping out with your favorite rapper, because all that performative politicking that y'all doing, that politricking, we're now getting tired of it. The dust is now settling. And I will tell you, if you keep popping up with rappers twerking ass and shit, what difference is you and Trump with Coco and Silk, or Silk and Sheree, whatever her name was? The girl's dead now, but you remember them buffoons. So spare me with he's anti-Democrat, because at this point I am Jason. I am a registered Democrat. I do have some conservative views. I'm a blue dog Democrat from what I just found out. Okay, I am running for city council because I want to change my community. I don't want to wait for somebody to do it. And yes, Ms. Harris, Vice President, you are not above the law. Even though the Supreme Court told y'all that y'all can. But we are in a very scary time in this country right now. And to think about it, we have a country where a black woman, Sonia Massey, called 911 for help. A white man came in there, shot her in her face, killed her in her kitchen. And we have a person running for president who's saying that police should have immunity. But Kamala, don't take us for granted just because of that we're supposed to vote for you. You got to earn that. You got to sit in that hot seat. You got to be asked the hot questions. The crazy part is we know you could pass the test. But what you scared of? You letting all them people around you in that bubble put you in a little smaller bubble. Get out your bubble. You found Megan twerking for the Birkin. Get out. And yes, Megan, I said it. You put the bottle down one day to twerk for Kamala. And guess what? That didn't earn my vote. Sorry, but not sorry. Finding a rapper to come and shake ass on stage in front of thousands of people does not earn my vote. That gets the people in the room so you can get the vote. And we get it. It's performative. But I'm sick and tired of y'all using rappers to get our attention. Tell us that you're going to cut gas prices. Tell us you're going to make sure that there's some healthier food options. Tell us that you're funding education. Tell us that you're ending the support. They ain't going to say that. Tell us that you're supporting the Congo, where they're killing all those kids over there. But you ain't, because they black. Anyway, I think that Stephen A is on to something. And I don't agree with Stephen A on most of anything. And Charlemagne, I think you're onto something. Me and Charlemagne talked on the side. I ain't going to talk about it. But Charlemagne, he was one of the first people to tell me the minute you criticize him, you're going to stop getting invited. And I will tell you, they did get a little petty when I started criticizing them. Not the president's side. It was the vice president's side, which is who we're talking about. But I don't blame her. I blame some of the staff around her. Probably the speech writers that keep her at all these speeches that we keep saying. I don't want a press conference president. I want a president that can answer questions. I don't want a press conference president. I said it. I don't want a tweeting president. I don't want a president that only shows up when somebody writes what they have to say. We the people. No, we the people want you to sit down and talk to us. Answer the questions. Now, if you come on my show, I'll be a lot calmer and a lot more demure. Because that's the temperature of the Jason Lee show. But Kamala know what's up. She know I love her. And she know I respect her. You know that. We talk about her all. We love you over here, Kamala. So forget everything I just said. Come to the show if you want. Come to the show if you want because we love you. But you got to sit down. And God forbid Trump beats you here. If Trump beat Kamala here, baby, I don't know. You're going to be in trouble because I'm going to roll the red carpet out for Trump. I'm gonna roll it out for him, and I'm going to ask him 20 minutes of questions he wants to hear, and then I'm going to start hitting him with all types of questions he ain't going to want to. He better not walk out either. He going to need a presidential pardon if you do that. What?
Look,
I know you got a lot to say.
and not a lot, just a little. And I only slightly disagree. And I only slightly disagree because
With me or Stephen A?
Stephen A. mostly, right? And the reason is the Republican Party found a bunch of things to throw at the wall to see what would stick. And the one thing that is sticking is, oh, she's not doing any public appearances
Which is
where
a
she's
fact.
speaking freely. But it's a strategy. And the reason why I say it's a strategy is because it's a fundraising opportunity for her. So these first few weeks where the momentum is really heavy, she's going state to state and she's raising money, especially in states where she knows she needs a lot more
She raised
support than others.
$300 million in 2 weeks.
Right, but we also have to understand that money has to go to building local offices to make sure that they're really infusing people in those cities, in those states, to get the word out on the local level. Like you do mailers, you do phone banking, like all those things have to happen in a greater scale. So for her right now is riding the momentum of raising money to make sure that she gets her message out. And like you said, I have no doubt she's going to sit down and do what she does because the woman has more experience than anybody on
The
the other
ballots
ticket.
will be out in 40 days.
Yeah, but this is
Kamala needs to sit down.
and the Democratic National Convention is
On the
in a few
19th,
days.
yes.
So it's like, she really had to ride the momentum of raising money and
But
building
she's ridden it now.
coalitions
Get
in
off the
local markets.
ride, Kamala.
And I think she will. And like to your point, if she does not do what you're saying, which is she needs to really
If
go
you don't
to
sit
black,
down, you will not get my vote.
she needs to go to black outlets that really do have a voice and reach in our community to really be effective, because people are getting tired of performative politics, and she does need to sit down with you or Charlemagne or people who are really going to reach that community in a real way.
If you don't sit down with black-owned media, you are a coward, and you are a coward that is you have not earned the black vote. And look, the crazier part is that we actually love, cover, and protect our own. And in many ways, I've sat down privately with her to explain to her how much we support her. And I know Kamala to be tough. If you go look at, I've been watching Kamala Harris videos on YouTube of her when she was in the Senate. The woman she bad. And I think when we have her up there as president, she's going to be such an amazing example for young women of all colors, all backgrounds. So I think that we need to see that. We need people to see you. Now, in all fairness to Kamala Harris, let's be very clear. This last 4 years, she's been working as part of the Biden administration, which means that you not seeing her, she was behind what he wanted her to do. Now she's kind of been unleashed. I know that's not the best word, but you know what I mean? She's kind of been allowed to go do what she needs to do. And she's acting more presidential, right? So now you see Kamala Harris a little bit more. But Kamala, you ain't going to go from a 28% approval rating, poorest performing vice president of the United States to president without talking to us. Because I'm going to remind you, you were the worst vice president on paper in U.S. history. They said that you were the absolute worst in terms of, Google real quick, who's the worst vice president of the United States? And then now you're going to be the president of the United States. So in order for you to earn that, you need to come stop by. If I was you, I would create a culture forum. Me, Charlemagne, Angie Martinez, DJ Envy. That's enough. Let us all ask you questions. Maybe Complex. You know what I mean? Shade Room. Let us all ask you questions. You gonna answer them all. You know all the answers. What you scared of? All right. It's time to get to the tea with Jason Lee. Simone Biles is in the news, and look, she's out there killing the Olympics. After taking over the 2024 Paris Olympics, champion Simone Biles is still in the news as her estranged birth mother, Shannon Biles, seeks forgiveness after abandoning Simone and her siblings while battling drug and alcohol addiction. Now, This happened between the ages of 2 and 5. Simone was in foster care, like me, with her younger sister, Adria, and her older brother and sister, Tevin and Ashley. Now, here's Shannon, Simone, Tevin, and Ashley, just so we can put the family together real quick. This was them at happier times. Mama looking like, what am I going to do with all these kids? Well, in 2003, Simone's maternal grandparents, Ronald and Nellie Biles, stepped in and adopted them in Houston. Now, however, Tevin and Ashley wanted to go back to Ohio, so they were raised by Ron's sister and children's grand aunt. Well, here's Simone with her grandparents and adoptive parents, Nellie and Ron. They look like a family. Love the red. Well, Ron and Nellie raised Simone and Adria with their 2 sons and girls, uncles Ron Jr. and Adam. Now, here's the whole family portrait of how Simone coexisted with her non-parental parents. I don't know. Beautiful, beautiful family. Which just goes to show family is what you define it. I mean, for me, my family was Children's Home of Stockton, the Easter home, because, I was in foster care as a kid. I was there for 5 years. She was there for a few. But that became her family. And when you have a mother that has a drug addiction, that has mental health illnesses, I don't know if her mother does, but I don't know if Shannon had mental illness, but she had some drug addiction. And when you have that happen and you move on and go live with family or strangers like I did, that becomes your norm. And so I'll talk about my own experience, but I want to set this up because in 2016, Simone's birth mom, Shannon, spoke with TMZ, revealing that she had been clean and sober since 2007. She also addressed her parents, speaking on her in the media. Look.
I feel like they're defaming my character because I know it happened. I was struggling back then, but I've gotten better. Life goes on, and that's my past. And that's what it should be left at, the past. I feel like he didn't have to be so harsh about it. I am his firstborn, and he could have been a little bit more classy with it, Really. He didn't have to put me under the bus like that. But, I did go through my struggles and everything, but you didn't have to go through it like the way you went through it. I've been following her for years. I'm so proud. I'm just proud. Ecstatic. Speechless. It's priceless, When we do talk, it's briefly. I want to say maybe every 3 months, when I call, when she calls. We have vacation together. I was invited when she won her first title, her championship, the P&G, in 2014. I was invited there. That was in Pittsburgh. We went on a cruise together, 2009. That was like a family reunion. Before then, I was invited to the Expo Center here in Columbus. She was in a competition. That was way before the Olympics and the champion and stuff. And I've been invited in October when she goes on her signing tour. I speak with her when I can. She's very busy. I just want to say I love you, Simone. I'm so proud of you. Go Team USA, and I'll talk to you, and I'll see you when I can.
That was such a sweet message, and that was back in the day. That ain't even like yesterday. But yesterday, she was in another interview with the Daily Mail. Now, Shannon, who says she's still clean and out of trouble, wants to make up for lost time and is waiting on Simone and Adria to be ready. Here's the audio of what she said to the Daily Mail.
How do you handle the fact that this is brought up every 4 years?
I'm over it already. I can't keep dwelling on it. Whenever she's ready, and I'm here. I want her to be able to come to me and say, okay, let's have a sit down because there's some things I want to know. So I just have to have patience. I want to let her know that I love her. I'm very proud of her, but I'm just still waiting, I would like to sit down and talk to you and answer any questions you may have, 'cause I don't know what you've been told but, I want you to hear the real deal. I was an addict. I will always be an addict. But there's just a way that you have to learn how to stay away from people, places, and things and change your routine and just change your life. Live your best life. If I need to know anything, I'll call my dad. Hey, Dad, what's going on with Simone? How's everybody doing? He keeps me posted.
So you don't have like a direct number that you can even reach out to her?
I do, but I won't.
Why not?
I want her to reach out to me. She's 27 now. She's married. I would like to have been a part of that, but I just have to wait for her.
Let me tell you, I'm having a flashback because everybody knows, if you read my book, that my mother had drug addiction and she suffered a lot. And then I had a lot of animosity towards my mom for her drug addiction and choices that she made that impacted my life. And I wrote about that in my book, and I even talk when I'm out doing interviews about the lesson I learned about forgiveness, right? And so I can't judge Simone and where she is in her process of forgiving her mom, but she's either chosen to not have the relationship with her mom that she probably wanted as a young girl because of animosity, or maybe there is no animosity and she just has the closure that she needed, like I had with my dad. But what I will tell you is I really love how her mother is handling the situation, because now that her daughter's rich, she could be out trying to get the bag. She could be out selling interviews. She sounds exhausted with talking about the same thing over and over and over every time Simone is in the news. You know, she's a cyclical girl. So every 4 years when the Olympics, here comes Simone Biles, unless her boyfriend is telling her husband is telling everybody that he's the catch. But I feel like she genuinely wants to have a relationship, but is overstepping. And Simone not reaching back, I don't want to judge, but Simone, I don't know, have you done the healing? Maybe it's time for you to look within, because at some point you're going to have kids by a man who thinks that you're not the catch. And you're going to have to make sure that you don't have the mommy issues with your kid that you clearly have with Shannon. But I also understand Shannon being the only kid that goes away like that, because that was me. Out of all my siblings, 11 of us, I was the only one that went away. And so now that I'm back, I kind of feel like whatever. I get it. But I just like the way that Shannon is handling this and the way that Simone is keeping this private. It's not messy. And I don't believe that we need to keep asking her about her drug addiction. She seems like she's been healthy for all these years. Leave this woman alone and leave this woman alone. Let them figure it out together. But I don't know. I'm here for the reconciliation, but I'm also here for people that want to maintain their own privacy and have, like, I've got my life, I'm good. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think a lot of Americans have dealt with this kind of experience at some point in their lifetime with a family member. Like, I know I had an uncle who was like the life of the party, the most like super successful in Chicago, and got strung out on crack, and then it really had a major effect on all of our relationship. My parents had a chip in with my cousins, like things like that. But at the end of the day, it took time for us to like foster and develop that relationship. And we did it at the pace that we all needed to do. And I think it's great that, you know, they're keeping it private and doing it as they need to, because that's how it should be. It should be private. And I do like the fact that she left all of her kids with family members too. It wasn't like she put them into the foster system.
Like mine.
Which wasn't a dig. But, you know,
that was shade.
It was not shade. But I love that she did leave some with siblings, some with her parents. Was not meant to be shade.
Well, listen, my mother's dead, so we're going to let her rest in peace. Shannon also told the Daily Mail that Simone is not in touch with her biological father, Kelvin, but they occasionally speak. Simone, do you, baby. Whatever you want to do it, because you have the right to choose whether you have a relationship with Shannon or not. However, please give Shannon whatever closure Shannon needs, because she's at least respecting your privacy. She's not in every news story. She's not out there saying me. She's not Carlissa. Could you imagine Simone Biles had a mom like Carlissa?
Woo.
So Carlissa, congratulations to you, Tokyo Tony, and Tia Kemp, by the way, the Aunties podcast. I had lunch with somebody. I'm not even going to tell you who's watching your show, but they are subscribed and watching. That show is a hot ass mess. I will tell you, I want to come on that show, but I will not go on that show until my election is over because it's so reckless. But I'm just warning y'all right now, you ain't had a guest like me. So when I come up in there, I'm coming dressed for a funeral because I will lay bitches out. And I'm just playing. Not really. All right. I hope you guys get the peace and closure that you need. Bye-bye. Speaking of peace and closure, Kehlani's in the news. Now, Kehlani, I love this show because I literally am just talking to people. Everybody watches the show. Kehlani reached out to me last week. She texted me, we're good now. Last show, I said she didn't like me because we had our own little thing. We have our own history, but I love the message that you sent me. And thank you so much for watching the show and the feedback you gave me and what appears to be growth because you revealed a lot, and I'm not going to share that personally, but you revealed a lot to me about our own situation, that you have evolved, and you know, with age comes wisdom and all that. You know, I'm much older than you. I'm 40, about to be 47. By the time this airs, I'm 47 years old. I'm grown, okay? But I appreciate you reaching out to me and acknowledging that I have a job to do, like right now. Kehlani got a court-ordered restraining order against her ex, him, the one that they
allegedly.
What's how you doing? I got a job to do. I don't know him, and I really don't know her like that. He don't got my number, but if you want my number, I give it to you. Well, anyway, she got a restraining order, a protective order against him after he accused her of being in a sex cult and putting their daughter at risk of abuse. Now, last week, remember, TMZ reported that Kehlani's ex, Javon Young White, filed for full custody of their 5-year-old daughter, Adia Udeya Nomi, whom they welcomed in 2019. Let me show you a picture of all of them again. This is them right here. Remember, I told you this kid is adorable. And I told you that the baby daddy is actually being a father. If you go to his Instagram page, he daddy duties on overload. Well, last week, Kehlani denied claims and called her lawyers after her ex accused her of being in a sex cult with a leader who's allegedly facing many sex assault allegations. I spoke on that show. You have to go back and watch last week's podcast. I spoke on that show saying that was kind of ironic because Kehlani and I had kind of fallen out over me platforming somebody who had been raping people around her camp and other women, but I wanted to platform this loser so he could tell on himself, and he basically ended up in prison. Well, we've cleared the air on that, but now what's clearing the air is Javon, because he also feared for his daughter's safety per his allegations and alleged that the cult leader led Kehlani to believe that he's no good and to keep Adia away from him. Now, Kehlani is accusing Javon of physical, verbal, and emotional chaos and abuse. And before I go any further, let me tell you, once you start throwing out those allegations, baby, the internet is a highway of hell when it comes to drama and tea. This is why our business is thriving. This is why those of you that are watching me can't get enough of me. Because once one party says something, another party says, and baby, in this back and forth, it's been one brick on top of another, and somebody gonna try to blow the house down. But right now, it's brick after brick. Kehlani claimed that back in June, she got notice of her ex filing for public Why do we know this? She got information that he filed for public assistance. And when she asked him about it, he got angry. How dare you talk about my EBT? It's my EBT. You don't get to ask me about my EBT. She said he was living in her... You know what? I'm going to go to lunch. I'm about to go to lunch.
Oh, it's so petty.
Can we leave? Can we just leave, please? Can we please leave?
Let's pack it up.
He was living in the back house, spending his days getting high on weed and magic mushrooms. And when she asked him about applying for welfare, he spiraled and allegedly broke down her bedroom door, calling all types of bitches and a liar. I'm going to just say allegedly because we went there. And he allegedly accused her of trapping him and ruining his life with the birth of their daughter. Now, after the alleged incident, Kehlani kicked Javon out. And when she went into his room, a place where Adia spent a lot of time with him, it reeked of weed and it was a pigsty. I haven't said that word in a long time. My mother used to say, your room is a pigsty. What the fuck is a pigsty?
Very white.
Huh?
It's a very white thing to say.
She was white. You gonna stop disrespecting my dead mother. I know that. Before I call up Regina's ass and tell her son is a homosexual.
Oh my God.
Hey, Regina. Y'all send this to Regina. While Javon alleged that Kehlani's former religion posed a threat to their daughter, Kehlani claims that Javon used to get so high that he'd go off on religious rants and go into a state of potential risk for their daughter. Kehlani also claims that when Javon picks up Adia from school, she has no idea where they're going. So now she's asked for a restraining order against Javon, temporarily, of course, and that he can't contact her or get within 100 yards of her or her daughter, their daughter, whom she has sole custody of until the court next month. Now, although Javon claimed he was done running to the internet last week, here he is with a handful of receipts on his Instagram story, alleging that Kehlani busted through their own door and is framing him for the abuse. And he claims that she's been the abusive and manipulative one for years, and that she shares alleged texts of her praising him for being an incredible family member and inspirational father. Yet, feel free to pause and read. This is one of the receipts right here. Now, y'all know when you are on the internet doing this, I don't want to read all of this, so I'm just going to leave it up for y'all to see. Okay? And he claims here that she busted through her own door, framing the abuse. And then he goes into sharing the text where he's allegedly telling her, not allegedly, because I beg, hold on, leave it up. I begged you to leave me alone. I begged you that I didn't want to speak. I ran from your room into the back house. Not he agreed that he's in the back house. Lord, Javon. You followed me and barged through the door. I asked you repeatedly that I did not want to talk to you. You said you have to speak to your co-parent. And I ran. It sounds like he had a lot going on. Y'all can screenshot this and read the rest of it. It's a lot. Now, he did say in the text, if you read there up top, I've decided I'm never speaking to you privately ever again. And I'm asking you to set up communication with Adea completely separate from any direct communication. Clearly, it's toxic. Well, there's more. Take a look. He put this receipt up too. Y'all can read all of that. And all of that. Now here, this one is interesting. He says, I'm giving you the chance to retract your statement before I post everything. She says, I'm calling you. I was in rehearsal. I can retract. I've been in a 6-hour rehearsal. And he's saying on the side here, I've been lied on and manipulated for years straight, and it's finally coming to an end, and I'm glad it's out in the open for everyone to see piece by piece what it looks like. I have evidence for everything I have always forgiven and come back around, because otherwise my daughter is weaponized against me. She takes care of all of her friends who live off her. I was only ever around for my daughter. The moment I tried to leave for good, I was retaliated against with violence and anti-blackness. I ran from this lady multiple times in my life for good reason. And there's more. And more. And more. And more. Kehlani, I hope you didn't call me because you don't want me to invite Javon on my show, because you know he can come. And you can come on my show too. Javon, you're welcome to come on the Jason Lee Show, and so are you, Kehlani, because somewhere in the middle of all these text messages and back and forth is the truth. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think if Kehlani called me to piece it up because she didn't want me to call you, that was smart on her behalf. But if she know me, she know that ain't. Tori and Meg, y'all can both come on the show too. This is an equal opportunity platform. When you see all of that, do you think this is clearly like the R&B version of Blueface Krishan? Or?
Yes, it's a pigsty.
It's a pigsty.
It's a mess. And it's like you said, I don't know what's the truth, what's a lie, what's exaggerated, what's spot on. It's just too much mess.
It's the private text message for me. Kehlani, you don't have them sign NDAs like me? Now, clearly the boy in Atlanta didn't care about the NDA because he done went out there talking about how he was in love with me, this and that, which was all a lie. Wait. I need to know more about it.
I don't know her. It was all a lie.
Well, Kehlani caught all of Javon's posts and simply told him this. I did not make a statement, nor did I go to TMZ about my business. That means she's scared about all the other receipts he's going to drop, because Javon kind of laid it all out there. But this is my greatest fear in dating somebody, that we fall out and that it spill over to social media. But that's why you got to be careful how you treat people. You know, the way I catch myself when I'm in rants is this worth getting sued for? Is this worth getting sued for? Right?
Right.
We talk about it. Is this worth being put on blast for? You know, and then when somebody does put you on blast, you got to be ready to go back and forth with them. And clearly, Kehlani doesn't want all her business out there like that, because, you know, Kehlani is the star that we're going to talk about. We don't know him. We don't know you. We don't know what EBT program you were on. We don't know your Medi-Cal situation. We need to know all of those details. And you can come over here. But, you know, this is what we went through with Keke Palmer and her man.
Mm-hmm.
There he is,
Yep.
who I saw. Gorgeous guy. Y'all are all cute. Craziness. It's just pure craziness on the internet. And so it's unfortunate to see our stars like Kehlani and Keke go through that kind of thing. But here we are. And somewhere in the middle of all this, the daughter's out there somewhere. I hope that she doesn't continue to get dragged in this, because if you put the family back up, can we put their picture back up? Or the picture with the daughter and Kehlani? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous young girl who's going to read all this at some point, who's going to know all this at some point, who people are, she going to go to school and they're going to be like, your mama said your daddy in the bag house. Because, you know, kids are cruel. So I pray that there's some resolution. Kehlani, you're so beautiful. You're a handsome guy in this photo, at least. And I pray that there's some resolution. Both of you are welcome here on the show anytime. Please bring all your receipts. Thank you. Speaking of couples who are under fire, celebrity couples and the police are a thing right now. First of all, y'all know I don't really care about this one. This one I don't really care for. I'm gonna tell you, this is a nasty mouth thing right here. I'm gonna tell y'all some real tea in a minute, but before I get there, and I like him, YG. I like YG, but I got a job to do. Pow pow. Shout out to Wendy Williams. All right. Now that Kehlani and Javon aren't the only people that we're talking about, we got to talk about the police being called in some other situations. Now, YG had the cops called on him and his latest girlfriend, Saweetie, after a recent heated fight. And elsewhere, Disney Channel alum Skai Jackson got arrested for reportedly beating on her alleged baby daddy. Let's start with YG and Saweetie, who were first romantically linked in April 2023 at Coachella and confirmed their romance a month later with a PDA-heavy Mexican vacation. Now, after split rumors happened in January 2024, the couple popped up again this April. Now, let me show you a photo of the couple during happier moments. This was them giving us real, I don't know, just giving us something. This is when they were happy. Well, now, a month after Saweetie celebrated her 31st birthday, things with YG have turned salty after a heated argument over someone's phone got so loud that cops were called into their LA area home. I didn't even know that they were living together. Did you?
I had no idea.
I know music has changed and people aren't touring the way they did. It makes rent cheaper. Well, police told TMZ that when deputies arrived, they immediately separated the couple and confirmed that no physical contact was made. Before the police left, the couple was calm and a non-criminal report was taken just to document the incident, but no crimes were committed. So after that, a couple of days later, after the reports, fans caught YG posting emojis of a lion and cheetah and assumed he was calling out Saweetie a lion cheetah. Let me show you what he did. I see what you did there, YG. Well, you're alleging with that post that she was a lion cheetah. And we know how her relationship with Quavo ended. Do you remember that?
Fill me in. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I remember that. We don't need to. Yes, I remember.
Allegedly.
She slept with Offset while she was dating Quavo. That was the allegation. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So if YG's calling you a lion cheetah, if the spots fit, does she wear them? Now, he cleared things up and said that he was at the zoo with his kids, which he was, in fact. So maybe he was just posting an emoji of a lion and a cheetah because he was at... Let me show you the photo of him clearing up the rumors. I was at the zoo with my kids, stop the cap. But YG, that's not the only time I've ever taken a picture somewhere and the day later said I was there. So did you say the lion and the cheetah to get us all talking about it, only to clear it up with some photos you had in your photo gallery? Because the dirt was done at that point. You're the lion and the cheetah. You the liar and a cheetah. What you think?
Why would you post that? Why?
Because he's brilliant. I love YG.
I actually do.
YG with him and Tyga, he was at that thing performing with that sombrero on, and y'all got mad at me for putting on a flyer for tacos and tamas in my campaign. But I like YG. I think I love YG. I like him. He's real LA rap and whatever.
Were they screaming so loud that like a neighbor called the police? Because it didn't say they called the police. Like they just showed up. Like
police in LA ain't just showing up.
Well, somebody called, but it don't sound like it was them. It must have been something real serious.
Well, elsewhere, Skai Jackson and her boyfriend had the cops called on them too. So the child star has kept her romantic life private, relatively. Although I've been screenshotting it from her Snapchat and putting it on Instagram. Because she's just this one right here, you don't know her the way you think you know her, but I'm going to break it down. I'm going to tell y'all a moment that we had. I'm going to put it out here today. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's been teasing this mystery boo for a while on Snapchat, putting emojis over his face, and then she finally revealed him or whatever. Now, here's a photo of her teasing the boy on Snapchat. These are photos I sent to the team. She'd put these emojis over his face, whatever. We never saw him, okay? Well, then she revealed his face. He goes by Network Yerk on social media. Look, finally, she put it out there. Network Yerk. Well, now, according to TMZ, Skai was arrested last week for domestic violence. And deputies were called to Universal City Walk after security detained the arguing couple. Now, surveillance footage reportedly shows Skai shoving her man more than once. So she was cited and arrested for misdemeanor domestic battery and released a few hours later. The LA District Attorney's Office will now decide if charges are warranted. However, sources close to the couple claim that Skai and her man denied getting in a physical altercation and actually are happily engaged and expecting a baby. First of all, let me give them a round of applause. We love families. Mm-hmm. We love developing families. And I'm just glad that he's old enough for you to have a baby with. Because when you were sleeping with Beyonce's nephew, he was underage. And that's where she didn't like me, because one day she was in Hollywood Unlock's DMs and tried to say some slick shit. And we hit her back with the real tea. We hit her back with the receipts of that sex tape she did with the then underage Jules. And baby, when I tell you her mama got on the phone and called me and tried to have a whole conversation because she didn't want this tea to be spilled, I never talked about it because Skai, was a 19-year-old brat with a smart mouth and shitty attitude, and I let her live. She's this nasty mouth, nasty attitude. Well, now she's in a fight with her baby daddy, her alleged baby daddy, who's a grown man and not the young minor that she had sexual relationships allegedly with, that allegedly led to that sex tape, allegedly that hit the alleged internet. The DA may want to look into that, because that's a violation of the law. If Jules was 19 and she was 16, 15, Google Jules' age real quick. What's Jules' age?
He is 19.
He's not now. Now?
It says he was born in 2004 on October 18th.
2004, so he'll be 20.
Mm-hmm.
Now Google Skai Jackson's age.
She's 22.
22. So he was probably 16, 17. She was 19, allegedly. Well, either way, if it was the other way around, Jules would be in trouble. Well, Skai hasn't addressed her arrest, nor has she confirmed being engaged or pregnant, but she did address the internet investigators circulating a photo from April 2023 as a clue. Take a look. She said it's fake. Now, she responded and said that it was an after photo of her eating a lot 2 years ago. Let's look at the fake before. Okay, that's the fake. Okay. Well, we don't really care if you're pregnant or not. We hope that whatever you are, that you're healthy and that you're safe and that you find a better attitude. I like your mom. Your mom is actually a sweet woman who's probably struggling to put up with you. And she does her best to do damage control every time you act out. You know, I had to tell your mother, lady, you better get your daughter. And I'm still not even rolling out all the receipts like I can because I'm going to let you live on this one. And I hope that you find peace. Young man, escape, get out. Get out. The Bible says warning comes before destruction. Call Hannah Montana and get out.
I just she has so much like opportunity in front of her. She needs to like
to do what?
She's like a young actress who had a huge fan base.
I thought you were gonna say like a young Raven Simone.
No, but I'm saying like you can't be beating up your boyfriend at the Universal City Walk. Like, come on.
And look how big that boy. Let me see the picture of them side by side. What's his name? Dirty Yerk?
Something Yeeks.
What's his name? Hold on. I got it right here. Hold on. His name is Network Yerk. Thank you. Look how big Network is. That's a big old network. What you doing putting your hands on this big old boy? And how old is he?
Network Yerk.
Network Yerk, you're invited to the show. Come network. That's all. Well, Carisha is in the news. She's back with the episode of Carisha Please. Now, I had dinner with Carisha in Miami. Carisha, I told you to do what you did, but you did not listen to me and do it the way I told you to do it. Instead of sitting down with somebody who could have really challenged you, you sat down with the Barbara Walters of the blogs, and that's Saucy Santana. Now, we know that's your boy, and that's a safe set for you, but we needed to see a little ruffling of the feathers. Young Miami finally sat down with Saucy Santana for a new episode of Carisha Please. You know, the show's been on hiatus since a couple announcements. She sat down for another season and episode of Carisha Please, where she talked with Saucy about her fallout with City Girls group mate JT and broke her silence on her boyfriend Diddy. Now, 9 months after he was accused of rape, abuse, drugging, and sex trafficking other women and
Allegedly.
men. Well, following handfuls of Diddy lawsuits, even one that alleged that she was securing cocaine and ecstasy for Puff's alleged freak-offs. Remember they said she was a sex trafficker? We broke the story on Hollywood Unlocked of receipts where she was at, where she wasn't even in town. I think she was somewhere in New York for the Met or somewhere in the fitting or something. Anyway, Young Miami is sharing her truth. She's finally speaking. Okay, now she confirmed that she's no longer dating Diddy, and she said that all of the criticism and abandonment led her to lose herself and nearly become a pill-popping animal. Young Miami said she met Diddy when the world was celebrating him and giving the mogul his flowers. And she also said that her experiences with him were not the same as other women that were filing lawsuits. This is what she had to say.
So a lot of the things that people really like say about him, you didn't experience that as in dating. That's not something that you saw. So is that the reason why you never said anything? Is that the reason why when all of these allegations and lawsuits came apart, like why didn't you speak?
Because I can't speak on something that wasn't my experience. And I can't speak on something that I don't know. I can't speak on these allegations because I wasn't around at the time. I don't know that person and that wasn't my experience.
So with you being, I feel like, a survivor of domestic violence, he never hit you in a relationship. He was never violent. Was that something that you had to tolerate, or that's just that wasn't a part of, because I feel like that's the biggest thing to him right now is, what he going through in these lawsuits and, that video that came out. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people are wondering, was that your experience? And I know personally that you've been through domestic violence before, and I don't think that's something that, I know that's something that you've grown from and that you don't tolerate.
I've been through domestic violence in 2 relationships. And I told myself after the second relationship, I would never put myself in that situation again, especially now being that I'm a mom. I was a mother then, but like having a daughter, like I would never put myself in that position I don't stand for domestic violence.
Are you still dating Puff Daddy?
I'm not. I said I was gonna tell my truth. I think that it really, really, really hurt me because I just feel like, Puff was a really, really good person to me. I feel like he came and he helped me and, he elevated me and he saw a lot of things in me. And I feel like that's like one of his specialties. Like he know how to like find people and, identify their talent. And he was able to see more than music in me. And I felt like he brought out another side of me. Like he brought out like my jitsu side. Like, my woman side. Like it was like a lot of things that I didn't see in me that he brought out of me. Like, baby girl, you more than music. You an icon. You a motherfucking mogul. You know what I'm saying? Like, put God first. Make sure you keep God with everything that you do. But I just felt like when all of these things came out, I just needed to take a break and focus on what's important. It was just me and my career and my family and just, let him navigate and figure that out on his own because I can't get caught up in that.
Although he was so great to you and you didn't experience that, you still feel like just with everything that's transpiring, in order for you to soar or to keep elevating, you need to disassociate yourself.
It's not in order for me to keep soaring or, just to elevate myself. I just feel like, although that wasn't my experience, and he was such a good person to me, and that's what people don't understand about like me and Puff relationship. They was just like, you was so loud, and you made him a part of your brand, and like you just thought that you had something, and it wasn't that. Because I think the same thing with him. Like he didn't expect to fall in love with me because we did end up falling in love with each other. And I just feel like, it's just everything that's going on. Like I don't want to get caught up in that, and I just need a moment to just pour into me.
Yeah, I could see that. And I just want to take a moment to give you your flowers for being so strong. And I've been through, I feel like a lot of stuff behind the scenes with you, with just going through everything and just seeing how like everybody really like just turned on you and just how you've been so strong, even like for your kids, for yourself, um, being a woman, making the right decisions.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I just want to say thank you, because if it wasn't for you, I don't know where the fuck I would be. I probably would be somewhere like I probably would have turned into a motherfucking pill popping animal, putting myself to sleep. Cause this was like pain that I never felt, and the people that I thought would be here for me turned this into like an aha moment.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And it just was like nobody called to check on me. Nobody called to see like how I was feeling. Like it was really like an aha moment. Like, oh my God, but you thought that you had this nigga. You thought that you was going up, and I didn't think anything. I got with a nigga and I did what I was supposed to do.
Period.
And the nigga was doing what he was supposed to do. When it comes to, I feel like Young Miami as an artist, that's the music I made. I made fun music. You know what it is, Santana? I feel like I lost my personality. And I feel like the reason why I lost my personality is because everything is so literally now. Like,
Yes.
we can just be at the pool just talking something, and the next day you wake up and it's a headline and it just goes so deep. And that's something that it's just like, I feel like I lost myself. Because, normally I used to be on live all day, Santana. We'll be riding around the car, juicy crabs anywhere we on live. Now I'm scared to pop up my live. Like, that's like the other day we at the pool. I'm like, Santana, I'm going to turn off my live. Because I feel like people build you up to break you down. So the reason why people fell in love with me is just like, now it's just like, oh, you so ignorant. You so this. And I just feel like I don't got a personality no more, and it just really hurts.
Lots of reactions to all of that. First of all, I love their relationship. I love that Saucy has always consistently held her down. I remember those times when academics had a lot of nasty things to say about Carisha. It was Saucy who had her back. And I love the fact that she pours into him and Saucy pours into her, and that they have this relationship. So I love that. I disagree with you. Nobody checked on you, because I checked on you multiple times. I called you multiple times, text you often, and actually pulled up and had dinner with you. at the Soho House in Miami. And so that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it ain't your friends. Maybe you're talking about the friends that she thought was her friends didn't show up for you, because the people that you think is your tribe, like this bitch right here. Sometimes, like, I know Rob has my back and all of that. He's always there for me. And Rob will go out and have fun with other people and don't call me. Half the time he knows because I'm not going to go out because I don't want to be around those people. And then the other half of the time is that we're always together. So it's like he needs a break. So I just fight with him about not inviting me because I want to be invited, only to tell him no. But I know I can count on him if I need him. And I think what she was referring to is the people she thought was her community weren't there for her when she needed them the most. Mm-hmm. But then some people who are not of your community, like me, like I'm just somebody who actually sees you. I see you, Young Miami. I love you. I love what you're doing. I love your movement. I love your group. I love your motherhood. You came on my show when I needed you. Like, you've always been available to me. And we kiki on the phone here and there, whatever. So I wanted to make sure that I was intentionally checking on you. So I think she wasn't necessarily saying that I did. People were, at least I know I checked on you and genuinely cared. And the fact is, you did fall in love with a man who was huge to the culture and went through one of the biggest downfalls this year. And I know you've been trying to figure out what to do, because she will say, without getting into all our private conversations, she really was figuring it all out as it was all unveiling. You had a moment where, like, one day you're in love with your man and the next day the tsunami of allegations come, and then you're the headline, and now you're a drug trafficker, sex trafficker, you know what I mean? So she was trying to figure it all out, and she wasn't being given the space to do that because of the job. She's a celebrity. And if you know her to know, if she was on our show where she talked about, I'm just a mom, I'll be with my kids, she don't be outside like that. Well, I'm glad that you're finally speaking on it. I'm glad that you've gone ahead and let the relationship go, because I think you need to be able to move on. And I think he needs time to heal and figure out his own process, because he's still in the midst of probably indictments. And I'm sure they are building a monsoon of a case at the federal level to get him, because they don't just raid all your houses, ground your plane, take your passport, or whatever they did, allegedly. I don't know if they took his passport, but that's what I heard. If some shit ain't coming. But she's also telling her truth that it never happened to her. And we can't expect her to say she was beat too just because we saw him beat Cassie. I ain't gonna say allegedly, because you beat that girl. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's really easy for the audience or the fans to look at people like Carisha or you or Tiffany or Cardi or Jonathan Majors or anybody who's like a celebrity and be like, we want you to respond to what you're going through right now. You need to give us an answer. You need to tell us. But at the end of the day, all of you guys are humans. You know, all of you are human beings who have to process your experience. And when your experience is so public, I feel like that kind of pressure is scary. But you really have to be, I've seen you have to process like things that people are attacking you for in a very public way. I've seen you have to process that on the human side as Jason. And it's so crazy that we expect these people to answer to us on their personal experience. So I'm glad she like took the time to do it, took the time to like reassess her life and figure out what was the best path forward for her. And, you know, lean on people like you, lean on people like Saucy to like really figure out which direction to go. So I'm glad she did it in this way and she didn't feel the pressure to do what the audience was telling her she should do.
Isn't it? It's crazy hearing you talk about my own experience. When we sit down, we have to really talk through shit.
Yeah.
But isn't that crazy? Because what is just what it is. But when it comes to people who are under the magnifying glass, she's at a much more magnifying glass than I am. But like when the public is in your life, they pick and dissect and decide what it is for them. Mm-hmm. And then that sometimes takes on a life of its own. But you got to have a community like a Rob or a Sauce. You got to have that. And that's important, not to lose yourself. Well, she talked about part of that community, and that was her relationship with City Girl bandmate JT and the fallout that they had. Take a listen.
So when it comes to, you know, City Girls and JT, y'all was having an argument on Twitter. You felt like, you know, she was making songs about you. She felt like you throwing a rock and hide in your hand. Where do y'all stand at today as City Girls and just as sisters, as friends?
She ain't all good and it's not all bad. Like, we don't talk every day, but it's no beef on my end. I still look at her like as family, but it's not like we on the phone, we chatting every day or we checking in like, hey, you know, she posting my shit, I'm posting her shit. It's not, I won't say we beefing, but it's not
Do you feel like taking it to the internet, or do you feel like things that happen behind the scenes have went too far that it'll never be the same motherfucker the old days?
I feel like once we go to the internet, that's kind of like I'm the type of person, like, if we feel some type of way, we could hash this shit out behind closed doors. You could call my phone, we could text each other, we could cuss each other out. But like, once it goes to the internet, I feel like you trying to get people to pick a side. Like, you putting people in our business to pick a side, and I don't fuck with that. Because I feel like we've been friends for so long that if we gonna go to the internet, we gotta air each other dirty laundry. Like, I'm gonna have to say some shit about you, you gonna have to say some shit about me, and people gonna have to pick a side. And if we real friends, we ain't going to the internet. I'm not going to the internet. And I felt like, I'm always the one that's gonna let the narrative run and let people think what they want to think and not clear nothing up. Cause it's just, it'll never be that serious to me. Like, I'm cool. I ain't gotta clear nothing up.
So how long behind the scenes do you feel like have things been rocky between y'all two?
I feel like it's been a minute. It's been a minute since shit been going on behind closed doors. Like, I just feel like we outgrew each other. I feel like she was in LA, I was in Miami. She was been working on her shit. I didn't know. And I just feel like every time we tried to get together, it just didn't hit. I just feel like when we got together, it just wasn't hitting. I just felt like we was just in two different headspaces. Like, the way we dressed was different. Like, I'm more of, I wear a leotard, JT want to wear something covered. So I just felt like whenever we tried to get together, it just didn't connect. Like, we'll be on tour. She got her own dressing room. I got my own dressing room. She riding with her own glam team. I'm riding with my own glam team. When we get on the stage and we do our routine, that was probably like the only interaction we had at the time when we was on tour together. So I don't really know like what was the moment that separated us, but I just felt like it became a time where, like, when we was getting together, it just wasn't connecting. And I was just like, ain't no money in the group. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to the studio together. I'm doing a feature. People calling for the City Girls. It's either me or it's you. It just wasn't connecting no more. And I just felt like that's what really made me like start my own brand. Like, I gotta do something because I'm in this group. The group ain't making no money. We not working.
Basically, right now, today, it's not bad, it's not good, but do you still feel like you would consider JT a sister?
Yeah, I feel like we grew up together. I feel like I'm gonna always look at her as family, but again, like, I'm not gonna sit here and just like do that strategic question. How are you? Yeah, that's my sister. We go, no, shit ain't all good, but it's not all bad neither. And I just want to move forward from that. I don't want to have to keep answering that question. It's just what it is. It's nothing going on. We not in the group no more. She went her own way, I went my own way, and that's just where we at.
Okay, period.
Damn, that's sad. Because when JT was in jail, Young Miami held him down, and then we knew they were girls, and now JT is hot, and Miami's going through it. But you got to be careful because that shit changes. Like, JT could be up now, then Carisha gonna drop a fire fucking album. Executive produced by me. Because you never know where it's gonna go. She can write a book. She can write a series, a play. She can call Tyler Perry up, get a bad wig, and go do star in it. Because she's acting. But I don't know. A lot can come out of this. But I hate to see the girls not fight. Well, you're not fighting, but you're not together. And Saucy, I love how you handled that, because you could have been messy because this is your girl and you weren't messy. I remember when we was all smoking hookah together at your little party. But nonetheless, it is what it is. You guys are no longer a group. You're single. You've lost everything almost. You've lost your group. You've lost your man. But baby, you're going to rise. I promise you. You're going to rise, like they said, like Maya Angelou said. I mean, only good can come from here now.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes you got to break up so you can become Beyonce.
What?
Sometimes the group has to break up so you can become
First of all, don't equate Michelle Williams to what the fuck they got going on, okay? Because Beyonce, you know what? Go to his Instagram. Don't come to mine. Beyonce and Michelle and Kelly did not break up. Beyonce left the group to be Beyonce.
That's what I'm saying.
But she dibbles and dabbles and she lets them make appearances. What they got going on is different.
They might make appearances one day,
Yeah,
20 years from
shady
now.
As hell.
It wasn't shady. It was just
I
an
will say
observation.
this, and I don't want to come off as a bully because I am running for city council, and you're baiting me into being a bully right now. Do you think at night Michelle's ever laying in bed like, why?
No, I think she's singing gospel songs before she goes to sleep.
Because those Destiny's Child checks were heavy.
Yeah, they
and
were.
gospel slowed up.
They were.
Right?
She's still getting them residuals, I hope. Or those checks.
I get wilding out residuals right now. Them residuals be like $23.22. Them residuals dry up after a while.
They do. She has a Uber Eats commercial. Or is it Postmates? She had a...
See.
That's not shady.
You're throwing shade.
It's not. The whole commercial is about her being Michelle.
Rob
Rob
did a shady commercial with Cardi B. Take a look.
Daryl?
Oh my God, Cardi B?
Did you just attack my village in Coin Master?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, okay? Everybody know Cardi the Coin Master. Coming after me, mistakes, disaster. I got a billion coins. I'm never gonna stop. I take you and I radio all the way to the top.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I did.
So you came all the way over here just to tell me that?
Actually, I came here for a cup of coffee.
Right.
Coin Master, download now for free.
I mean, we all got to do what we got to do to get the bag.
I mean, hey, good for her.
What if Michelle would have beat you for that spot with Cardi? Okay, well, look, Young Miami's podcast episode, it left viewers split on everything. Many claiming that she was defending Diddy more than she did JT, but she was unbothered and she already planned for mixed reactions. This is a photo of her podcast reaction. I knew the interview would be a 50-50, but I feel good telling my truth. I'm about to go outside and have a ball. I deserve it. See y'all later. I love it. Listen. Mm-hmm. Don't let the haters hate. And if they do, fuck them. Go outside. All right. Bye, Young Miami. Michael Rubin. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that I have been to a Michael Rubin party, and it is fun. It is this man knows how to throw a good party, and he's a billionaire. He has the resources to do it. But just like the ice cream man that molests all the kids in the neighborhood, he knows what to bring in order to get you to pull up to the truck. Because now, as I've said before, the new slave is these rappers who can't have enough validation to whiteness that they're so attracted to the light that they can't see that black ownership is in a spiral. And Michael Rubin may be at the helm of it because the CEO of the global digital sports company Fanatics and the co-chair of the criminal justice organization Reform Alliance, which is a partnership with Meek Mill and them over Jay-Z and the Rock Nation, whatever, has the black community upset. Now, the former Philadelphia 76 owners recently did an interview with The Breakfast Club where he defended his Philly rapper friend Meek Mill, someone who he's gotten super, super close with. After helping in his 2018 prison release. Now, in the interview, Michael Rubin expressed his frustration with the way that the black community Ain't this something? Ain't this something?
Mm-hmm.
The tone deaf of it all. Michael Rubin speaking out on the black community and his criticism of the black community's criticism of his bestie, Meek. Here's what he said.
I didn't even know I'd never heard of a bunny hop before.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
I put it on my story just making fun of him. Like, yeah, I kicked your ass in tennis. Like, it's fun. I actually won something in sports. Like almost a miracle. I should have had a celebration. Okay. No one says a thing then. 5 years later, people want to, now it's the turn, who we're going to hate on this one. So let's hate on Meek. Oh, Meek's gay because some guy made up a lie. Okay. So let's hate on him for that and just try to change the narrative. And, white billionaire telling, black men to do bunny hops. Actually, he told me to do bunny hops. It was his bet, and I'm sorry that he sucked in tennis that day. Okay, let's keep it real. So, like, that stuff.
You should have played a black sport. He'd beat you.
In everyone, by the way.
Yes.
But probably any sport other than skiing, which is obviously a white sport. That's the only sport I could probably get him in. But, the thing I don't like about that is it doesn't bother me for me. It bothers me that it actually when I see the narrative of a really good friend of mine like Meek, and people trying to, you know, again, if he was gay, which there's not one gay bone in his body, who cares? Number one, let's say if people want to be gay, it is 2024. Who the fuck cares? Okay. Number two, there's not a gay bone in his body. So like, why do people want to lie about that? Why do people want to change the narrative of bet he made with me to try to hurt him? So one thing I've learned about black culture that I don't like is that black hate on hate.
Speak on that more. I heard you say that earlier, and I wanted you to expound on that. You said you don't like to see black people tearing down other black people.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like, why does someone want to bring somebody else down? Let's try to build everybody up. Like, you know, I think it's culturally wrong. And I'll probably get killed for saying this because, you know, here, you know,
I'm glad you're saying it openly. If this is the conversations that are being had.
I have it all the time with
I want to hear this.
Yeah, so I think it's wrong. I think, like, why do you not want to build everyone up around you? Why do you not want everyone around you to do great? The best way for everyone to do great is to push each other up. You don't do better by taking your competition down. You do better by pushing everyone up together. You want all the wind behind your back.
So when you see black people tearing other black people down, in your mind, you'd be like, I would never do business with that person because of how they treat their own people?
Well, I don't see, I don't really see the people I'm around tearing people down. What I see is the conversations that we have about people trying to tear them down. And I think, like, you know, even if—
because Meek brings that up a lot.
The reality is, like, they're aware that, you know, there's a lot of hate that comes with their success. Even if, like, someone's trying to get out of— I grew up in a ruthless environment and, you know, I'm trying to improve the people that are around me. It's like, then the people that, you know, you grew up with, they're mad, they want to take you down because you don't have the same people around you. How about you want to grow and you expand? And it doesn't mean you don't want to help the people around you. I mean, Meek does so much for his community, you know, a completely different situation, but Baby does so much for his community. Like, so that whole thing really does bother me because I think it's wrong and I think it's culturally hurting the outcome of the black community. I think it would be much better if everyone tried to push each other up.
I'm going to say what I want to say carefully because I actually love the fact that Michael Rubin has made himself available to me whenever I message him directly. I love the fact that Michael Rubin, if I want to email him or email his team right now, I can get a response and that I do have access to him. And I do like the fact that he has allowed us to be in spaces where the level of playing fields have been leveled. Let me say that. He is wealthy in his own right. He earned it all on his own, whether daddy gave him money or not. I don't know his story. I don't know if it's a rag to riches or just a riches to riches, but either way, he has made a successful business out of himself. My friend Alicia and their podcast, The Pivot, is now over with Fanatics. It's aligned with sports and Jersey. He owns all the Jersey stuff. He's in all that. He's a successful entrepreneur, and I love the fact that he loves to hang out with famous black people so his kids thinks he's cool. He has a beautiful wife and beautiful children. I've seen them all, and he has good energy. So I have to be fair in that. I like the fact that he used his richness to get Meek Mill out of jail, and then as a result, they then paired up to do prison reform, even though sometimes Meek Mill slips back in to shoot a nigga up on Instagram because he doesn't know if he's a rapper in the hood or if he wants to be getting people out of prison, so he's kind of stuck in neutrality. But who the hell are you to talk about with the black community and their culture? You spoke some truth, but it came out of your white lips. That was the problem. And the way you did it was as if you were the purveyor of truth as it relates to black culture. And I will tell you that, Michael Rubin, it is not your fault. It is all of the tap dancing who come to your party that made you feel cool enough to say some shit like that. It was Travis Scott who killed all those people at that festival, but wants me at your party to be the protector, yet doesn't pull up. That's why your black ass went to jail in Paris over the weekend, by the way. It is the Meek Mills who are reforming communities under your business, and we don't really know all the people you've gotten out or all the resources you've invested, but you've done enough to create something. And it's the fact that we have allowed you the comfort of saying what you said and unwilling to call you out for saying it because we want to be invited to your picnic. We want to be invited to your cookout. And that to me is the scary thing, because I've said over and over and over again, when you become a critic of the person like you, like me, I will not be invited to your parties anymore because I'm criticizing you, or because people that come to your parties may feel attacked because I criticize them. But I love the billionaires that I have direct access to, because I have access to billionaires who look like me and who understand the necessity to protect the culture, and you know them. And so that's why I feel very confident in saying what I'm saying, because I would rather be true to the culture in my community than being on your invite list. There are parties that we get invited to I don't even care about going to. The fact that you would say black on black anything, black on black crime is not a thing. Black on black hate is not a thing. People hate people as it relates to proximity, because what's happening in Gaza is not black on black or white on white. It is just war. It is terrorism. It's genocide. So to say black on black anything is ignorance. And you are comfortable enough on a black platform owned by white people, but black show, The Breakfast Club, to say that in front of your black friends. Now, Charlemagne, I don't think Charlemagne didn't push back on you because he still wants to be in your phone book. I think when you let a clown show their makeup, you let them continue to put the paint on. And I think that Charlemagne did a phenomenal job as a journalist of allowing you to just say how you truly felt, because you felt you were in a safe place. I believe when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And I think you just did that. It doesn't negate all the good that you've done. You've done a lot of good, and you invest in black, but you do that in part because it gives you the cool factor that you'll never have. You'll never have the coolness of a Drake. He'll be at your party though. You'll never have the coolness of a Lil Baby, even though you'll climb on his back like a backpack. Everybody knows that you don't climb on no black man's booty the way that you did Lil Baby. But you did it. And the bunny hops. But look at this video with Meek Mill doing the bunny hops.
Why are you doing bunny hops, Meek? Because you got your ass beat in tennis. You got your ass beat. Keep going. Count out loud. That's the wrong time. Count out loud. 30.
Now, what rapper came out of Philly doing all of this? You're making a mockery out of our culture. And all of you tap dancing at the party because the man then gave you a jersey for free and a tote bag. Y'all think it's okay. I don't care if Gayle King is at every party. I don't care if Beyonce mama there. Now, you know what? I heard some shit went down at your party, Michael Rubin. I'm not even going to air these people out on this platform because I had people that were at your party. And it wasn't Tiffany Haddish, even though I know she was there. Because she don't tell me nothing, because y'all got her scared to tell me anything. But there were people at your party that told me about all of the madness that went in. Somebody got pushed into Beyonce.
Allegedly.
At Michael Rubin's party, like pushed hard. And they bumped into and pushed Beyonce. I should tell y'all who it was, but I ain't gonna do it. And it was men. It was men. Oof. Some men got into a tussle and one was pushed so hard he hit Beyonce. I dare you to challenge me. My tea's always served hot. But anyway, back to you, Michael. That was shameful. When you hear him say the black on black hate. Now, we will be clear. In our culture, there is a lot of stuff going on where we don't uplift or elevate each other. But that happens in white communities. Not in the Jewish community, though. Y'all have each other back. And I love, and the thing that made Kanye so mad at you about is the thing I actually love about that community the most. Because I feel like in our culture, we have a lot of resources that we don't give to one another, support one another, but it ain't black on black. The one thing you hate about our black, jaw on the floor.
And that's where you hit the nail on the head, because for me, if you can fix, we should make it a movement for everyone who is ready to fix their mouth to say black on black to be smacked across the face, because I am sick and tired of hearing that term. And if he would have just been speaking in generalities, it would have been fine. Like people not supporting each other, great, let's have that conversation. But the moment you slap black on it, it becomes a problem, especially if it's coming out of lips that look like that. Like you cannot say black on black. Like it happens in every culture. White people say disparaging things about white people. Asian people say disparaging things about Asian people. It's not unique to black people. So let's stop saying everything is black on black. It's annoying.
I'm appalled. There was nothing demure about what you said. Now, of the many people dragging Michael Rubin, LA rapper Schoolboy Q had the courage to get it off. Schoolboy Q, because he don't care if he getting invited to the cookout or not. This is what he had to say. He said, bruh, I'm cool on this app. This shit out of control, dog. No such thing as black on black anything. What the fuck? I'm gone, homie. Now, after being dragged by the black community and others, Michael Rubin apologized. Now, he's saying he got a call from somebody. This is what he said. I got a phone call from one of the people I have the most respect for in the world, and they told me while they appreciate my intention, it's not my place to speak on black culture. I get it and really appreciate the input. My intention was to say how important it is that we need to uplift each other, stop hate on each other, and push each other to win and always root for each other's success. My bad. Much love and appreciate the feedback from the Breakfast Club. I wonder if it was Kevin Hart, because Kevin is from Philly. They're friends. Kevin's dialed in. I'm going to text Kevin Hart and see if Kevin was the one. Was that you who called Michael Rubin? I ain't gonna tell y'all the answer, but I just want to know. Because Kevin is dialed in, believe it or not. My own fighting with Kevin has led to a beautiful friendship, and you know it, and I'm not gonna even tell y'all. Kevin, you know you have not fallen short of your responsibility to the culture. Anyway, yeah, that was a short joke. But no, that veil slipped. He showed y'all. And y'all just can't wait to go to the next all-white party. I'm done. You know, I don't hate you, Michael. I think you're doing some good, but your veil slipped. I'm on you now. I'm paying attention. All right, enough for you. We got room for one more. We got room for one more, and baby, Amber Rose. Amber, the whole MAGA movement member over here, has sounded off. Remember last week we talked about Amber on the podcast. If you forgot, take a look. Well, what we can't make up, Amber, is that you sat down with Candace Owens, who is... She's not even MAGA at this point. She's just a sociopath who is in complete denial over her blackness and is spewing the most hate towards our community that I've seen from anybody that looks like us. And as somebody who, like me, wants people to respect us as black people, when sometimes we have to defend our blackness to people, and you've had your own battle of defending your blackness with the whole Jocelyn situation, all that. I'm just so confused at who you've become. Like, I remember you told me in my car that you didn't believe in Jesus. And I told you then, don't talk to me about that, because I don't debate my faith or debate other people's faith with people. And then you came on my show and you talked about you being an atheist, which that was great. You say what you believe. But even you being queen of the slut walk have never slutted this publicly for women. Like, you've never publicly fought this hard or campaigned this hard for your own cause. And now you have become the face for the MAGA movement. And you're going to all the platforming RNC, Candace Owens, that are the far right, that this is less about who the better person for the country is. This is, you actually believe in the foundational beliefs of a person who has gaslit anti-democracy behavior in our country and a takeover of our democracy by trying to lynch the vice president of the United States, somebody who has been caught up on multiple charges of violating women and found guilty, who has done a lot of real bad for the country, and you believe he should be the next leader in charge over Kamala Harris, who stands for almost everything you used to stand for. So I've just been really confused, and I understand you unfollowed me, and that's fine, and I unfollowed you back, but I actually posted my detest for what you were doing and saying in love, because I still love you and care for you. But watching you go all out, a lot of us are wondering what the conspiracy is conspiracy is for your reasoning to feel like what you're doing is right. I did hear the crypto thing. Didn't know you to be in crypto, so I don't know if I believe that or not. But there has to be some other motivating factor for a woman like you who's raising 2 black kids in America, in a country where we just saw Sonia Massey get murdered by a police officer in her home after calling 911 for help, that you're raising 2 boys in this country, and the slippery slope we're on right now is going to turn into a slipping slide, and we're going to slide right back to the 60s and even before that. I don't understand it. But anyway, when you've seen Amber, what do you make of it? Because you've been around Amber a few times.
I have, and that's why I wanted to preface it by saying I've been around Amber with you quite a bit, and I have to say she's a good person. She's a nice person, and that's why to me this seems so odd and so crazy to see her like driving around in this Trump wrapped car, wearing MAGA hats constantly, just promoting this in a way that seems excessive. And to me, like you said, it goes against everything this woman stands for. This is a party who clearly didn't do their research on her, because she is an atheist, and a person who stands on that stage as an atheist isn't represented by that party, or the freedom for her to practice whatever religion or non-religion she decides to. Like, this is not the party that's in support of that. This is a woman who marches, like you said, for the slut walk. So all of these things are backward. It's completely backwards to me, and I'm so confused.
Well, Amber, you got more fame from it. You got more notoriety for it. You're definitely earning a base that I'm sure will support whatever you say, as long as you're supporting Trump. And the minute you flip like Omarosa and go back to, I don't know if you can go back at this point, because, I know you're talking about all the people that are supporting you in private, but there's a lot of people in private who are really not understanding where you're going. And I know you don't care, but I was surprised that you called me to try to flip me into becoming a Trumper, because even though I haven't said I endorse Kamala, Amber called me to question why I was saying what I was saying about what I know to be Trump. I've been involved with politics for years, not just as a person running for city council, but as a union leader for 11 years. I'm telling you, we worked on the Obama campaign. We have worked for single payer health care. We have done a lot of advocacy for patient care standards. So you don't have to educate me on it, but the Kool-Aid that Amber drank may be the one that was created at the same Kool-Aid factory that the Jim Jones people drank. And you remember how that ended. All those people laid out dead. Now, Amber Rose must have caught the comments, and she saw the video and heard what had to be said. Now, I don't believe I said anything wrong. Do you believe that? Do you believe I said anything wrong?
No.
It was very nice and thoughtful, right? I said, how does mother, being a mother of 2 black boys, support a man who supports police immunity, who just went up in a black woman's house, and she says she's a black woman?
No.
Huh?
Nothing.
See, now she's gonna go for you.
I love her,
But anyway, how are you gonna go support a man who's saying that he supports police immunity? That means that officer would be immune to prosecution after killing a woman unarmed in her home, after calling for help. You're also an atheist who stood on the stage of Christianity and Catholicism with the holier than thous at the RNC. The whole thing just doesn't align. Now you're sitting down having tea and crumpets with Candace Owens, who slid in my DMs, by the way, and who hopefully will be on the show soon. But you were nice, nasty to me. You weren't mean like you could have been. And that's why I think that this is a fair conversation. But I do want to remind you, Amber, that you started this. You called me privately. I told you I didn't want to hear it. Were you at the house when
I was?
You could hear me very loudly saying, how many times? Repeatedly, stop trying to shove Trump down my throat. That's what I told you privately. I didn't even take to my Instagram and talk about it. I didn't share it on social media. The only 2 people that knew were Rob and Andrew, because they were at the house. You started gaslighting the MAGA fans by tagging me, Baller Alert, Shade Room, and all of black-owned media. You sieged an attack on us, saying that we were lying to the American people, lying to black people, because Daddy Trump was peddling your rose and somehow made you believe that he should be the leader of the free world. You started that. So then what I started doing was posting and tagging you in facts in support of clearing Kamala's name. Not that I had endorsed her. In fact, I even said in the podcast that I haven't endorsed her or anybody. I even endorsed Robert Kennedy Jr., who I really like, by the way, who I thought gave us a phenomenal interview and had the courage to sit through 2 hours of questioning. I told you that I wanted, in the call, you said you didn't even know Trump. And then when I told you I want to interview him, you said you can make it happen. How can you make something happen if you don't know him? But then you go to the RNC. Did you know him or did you lie? I don't know, because you're all over the place. It's not adding up. And what's happening now is you saw what I said and you felt some type of way. So you went to your Instagram to put out a public service announcement. Now, I will tell you, I thought that Amber's response was positive. It was full of shit, but it was positive. But that's because Amber and I are friends, and we've had lots of friendly conversations that will remain private because we are friends. But there was a lot of things that you said and that you've been doing that don't line up with some of the stuff that I know. And I ain't even gonna put you out there like that. I'm just gonna say, we know. First, before I respond to what you said, you look very beautiful, and I do miss you, friend. But politics change relationships, and your super mania for MAGA is just not aligned with the values that I believe are important right now to democracy. That's just my own personal feelings. And I would have never publicly said anything had you not been tagging all the Black-owned media. Me and Rubin from Baller Alert were talking. She didn't even know you did that because she wasn't even paying attention to you. I had to go tell her and everybody else that you had tagged us. So you seized this attack on us. By the way, if you look at your comments, you built up a movement of people who followed you for your support of women, who follow your support of the gays. And all your comments, for the most part, are negative. So I don't know what mythical support you believe you had or what private DMs you're getting from celebrities, because those cowards are not coming out and supporting you, and you're standing out there on your own. And look, if Trump wins, great. You'll have a role at the White House. You'll be up there doing something with Melania. Maybe you guys can do some photo shoots. I don't know. What I will say is what Kim Kardashian did with Trump was different because at least she wasn't pro-MAGA. She was actually just helping to get people out of prison and using her relationship to give him a look, but not give him what you're giving him. You have given him your soul. And when you gaslight people about prices of groceries, when you're driving around in that big old expensive ass Rolls Royce that couldn't even fit on my street because it's so big, you're not like my sister who has 3 kids coming home with like working a day-to-day job, blue collar American. You're not. We're not. We have money. We have resource. We have more than the average person. We have more than the families that I'm talking to every day. So when you talk from a position of privilege, because you ain't that girl that came from that house in Philly and all. You're not her no more. You are access to the best people. Baby daddy got money. The other baby daddy, a girlfriend got money, or he got money. Like you know, Cher is your kid's stepmother. You're not. They not like us. You not like them. So. You saw what I said, and you had to do a 6-minute and 54-second response that turned into somewhat of a PSA for Trump. I'm going to let y'all see it. Take a look.
I'm going to try to make this as quick and as painless as possible. So, Jason Lee, hi Jason, you put a whole situation on your page in the Jason Lee show talking about me and why I endorse Trump. So here's the thing. The reason why I unfollowed you is because you put Project 2025 on my forehead, because I have a tattoo on my forehead, right? And you thought that was funny. I don't know why you say that you're my friend and then you do something like that. I would never do that to you. Me and you obviously disagree when it comes to politics, but as a friend, I would never do that to you. So that's why I unfollowed you, because you're negative, right? We do live in a free country to have our own ideologies and our opinions. And I just felt like that was rude and ignorant. Also, you're low-key making me make this video because I did call you and I did try to have a civil conversation with you behind the scenes. But every time, whether it's Hollywood Unlocked or Jason Lee or the Jason Lee Show, you tag me and everything. I wonder how Amber feels about this. I wonder how Amber feels about that. I tried to call you and have a conversation on why I feel the way I do, and you were not receptive. All you kept saying was, you're trying to change me, you're trying to get me to support Trump. And I'm like, bro, I know who you are, Jason. I'm not trying to get you to support Trump. You asked me why I support Trump. I'm explaining it to you and you're getting defensive. So we just have a difference of opinion. It's not that fucking serious. But when you post stuff like that and you tag me and everything and I'm leaving comments and you're making everything about my feelings and my personal beliefs, it becomes really weird when I call you and you act different. And as far as my slut walk goes, I haven't had a slut walk in 6 years. 6 years. People change a lot in 6 years, by the way. And there's things that I'm still passionate about when it comes to my slut walk. I still want to help women. I've helped a lot of women. I've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to women, specifically Black women. My slut walk was 85% Black women. So we helped a lot of women in general, Jason. So, you know, I still have those beliefs. There's just other ways that I can do it without having my slut walk. And I can still help women. And so even people that saying, oh, she's a stripper, what does she know? I have an IQ of 143. I haven't been a stripper in almost 20 years. So when you guys hold on to these things when it comes to people, it's very disrespectful and it's very idiotic and it's very stupid. People change, people grow, people have a difference of opinion. And Jason, I hate to say it, but like you're really causing a divide. You're telling people to vote for Kamala because she's Black or biracial. You don't do that. You vote for the policies. At the end of the day, that's just what it is. When I voted for Obama, I didn't vote for Obama because he was Black. I voted for Obama because I felt like he was the best for our country at the time. Like, yes, he made history and that's a beautiful thing, but you can't just tell people to do that. Like, it's just, that's not helping. You are causing a divide. People like you and media that does that is causing a divide. You have to go what's best for your country. And if that is Kamala for you or whoever is watching this video, that is fine. That is okay. You should vote for who you want to vote for. We live in a free country to do that. I don't understand why this is a big deal that I'm voting for Trump. I literally don't understand. Like, we live in America. We are able to vote for whoever we want. And the reason why I'm voting for Trump is because Trump is going to stop these wars. People are going to stop dying. He's going to close the border. We're going to have safer communities in America for my Black sons in America and better schools. Trump is for the children. You know, I'm a mother. Maybe when you become a parent, you'll understand more. But there's things that are on the line right now. Southern California is out of fucking control. It's out of control. And this is a Democratic state. Most Democratic cities and Democratic states are really, really down fucking bad right now. Why not have somebody in office that can help save that? Save our community, save our children. Like, fine, vote for whoever the fuck you want to vote for. I really don't give a fuck. But you tag me in everything and then you get mad at me when I tell you why I'm voting for Trump. Like, you want gas prices down, you want inflation down, you want to fucking afford, you know, your rent, groceries. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, at this point, it's enough. I don't want to go back and forth with you. Again, I tried to have a conversation with you over the phone. You were not receptive. Now I have to go and make these videos because you're making videos about me. And it just doesn't have to be this way, Jason. Like, at the end of the day, you know your politics and what you believe in and your ideologies. Then do it, babe. It's all good. It's all good. By the way, I'm cool with so many Democrats. I'm cool with Van Jones. I'm cool with Ari Melber. I'm cool with Anderson Cooper. I'm cool with Mark Lamont Hill, Charlie Mack, Dr. Umar. I've spoken to all these people. We obviously have a difference of opinion, but they're still my friends. And it's okay. We don't have to agree on everything. And it's all good. And we coexist and we, you know, let the best person win. Shit. That's just how it goes. But good luck with your career and everything you got going on. Oh, and one more thing, like, you're saying that I can't come back to that side, which I heard from Van Lathan and all. Like, fuck off. Okay? What side? What side? I'm an American citizen. That's what you fail to realize. I'm never leaving America. I'm patriotic as fuck. I live here. I was born here. I was born in Philadelphia, by the way. You can't get any more America than that. Period. So at the end of the day, don't compare me to no Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash was on drugs. I've never done a drug in my life. Okay, I'm a law-abiding citizen, and she didn't even know DMX was dead for like a whole year. You think this is the first time I got canceled? I've been canceled 15 times in 15 years. Like, I have my own ideologies. I say what the fuck I want. I do what I want. You don't like it, don't follow me, unfollow me. I don't give a fuck, bro. This is not about fame or clout or nothing like that. I do me. So do you, and just leave me the fuck out of it.
Hi, Amber. I like Amber. I have love in my heart for her still. So let me just be very clear. Politics aren't going to make me hate people. I just hate that we have to have this back and forth. The fact that we're saying hello to each other through social media. Hello. You know, we could have texted each other, call each other, like whatever. And you did call me. You just were trying to pour that Kool-Aid down my mouth that was made by Jim Jones. The same Kool-Aid that killed all those people. You're not going to kill me. I'm sorry. I had to draw the line. I should have drawn the line at you when you talked about Jesus. Because wasn't that was a lot.
It's a lot.
But I respected you as my friend having your views. I just said I was never going to sit next to you at church. Yeah. But either way, I'm not going to go back and forth with you because I said what I said. But when you saw Amber's response on Twitter, did you see it on Instagram?
I did.
What'd you think?
I have very strong opinions about her response. First, again, I want to say, like, through you, I've been able to hang out with Amber more than a handful of times. And I think she's a really, really nice person. She's really sweet, beautiful, smart, all that good stuff. But there were so many contradictions in what she said. One, back to what you said, you were never pushing to have this conversation with her. She called you and you were like, stop calling me trying to sway my political views. You verbatim said,
I begged her.
You verbatim said, don't ever call my phone and think you can influence my political views. Right. You said that to her. So that was crazy.
Matter of fact, I said, you don't have the license to use this phone for that.
Then she talked about you tagging her in posts and anytime something came up, and I'm like, no, that's the fans of Hollywood Unlocked constantly tagging you in the post.
No, I have been tagging her.
But
not a lot.
They were tagging her a lot, saying like, oh, what do you think about this, Amber? Yo, what do you think about this? It was happening a lot because people want to know, do you change your view? He just said something extremely crazy. But then she went through like a litany of things that he completely says the opposite of from her view. So that's why I was so confused.
Well, the one thing she said, Trump's for the kids.
Trump for the kids.
Ain't never said nothing about no kids. In fact, he said he's going to take away
the Department of Education.
The Department of Education.
He's saying completely the opposite of everything. And then she said she stopped doing this. Again, she's so nice, but this was so crazy. She stopped doing the slut walk 6 years ago, but she still supports the causes of the slut walk and she likes to help women.
About women that they have control over their bodies.
It was about like stopping rape culture. But you're supporting a man who was charged with sexual abuse for a woman who accused him of raping her in a department store. He also publicly said that because he's famous, he can grab him by the pussy. That is sexual abuse. Like, I don't understand how these things line up.
She getting a bag. She got to be getting a bag. It got to be money. It got to be money. There's no, one thing she said that I think she said, it's 7 minutes. I didn't watch the whole 7 minutes. I can't. California right now is out of control. Inflation is out of control. Taxes out of control. So I give you all that. As a person with money, Amber, person to person, yes, I agree with you. We got to figure that out. But we also got to make sure that we live in a world that we actually can recognize. Mm-hmm. Because a president having immunity from any checks and balances, a person who's 34 charges, sex assault, evading taxes, bad employer, bad renter. We already know the Trump University scam. Like, I mean, that endorsement, and it's not even like you're saying, I support Trump. You're the face for Trump. And then you said that I put your name, the tattoos, that tattoo photo. I took a photo I saw off Instagram that said Project 2025 on your forehead. And I put that out to get people's attention, and then I put what I said in the text, which was really lovely. It just refuted everything you said, and you didn't like that. So that's why you unfollowed me. That's fine. I don't care about a follow on Instagram. If you remember, me and Amber Rose had each other blocked for a long time. Remember I said life doesn't go in reverse. I reversed and look what happened. So I'm really not worried about that. I thought the way you handled it in terms of your temperature was nice because, it's all love. I mean, I love you as a person. I'm just disappointed in you, and your political views, which you do have the right to, are revealing a lot of who you are. And at some point, I want to know if there's money behind it because you have to be paid, being paid. I'm going to just say my opinion is you have to either be being paid or promise something as a result of doing this because it doesn't seem to make sense to any of us.
And can I point out a couple more things?
Yeah.
She is also standing behind a man who proudly boasts that he made the Supreme Court extremely conservative. And it was publicly said by members of the Supreme Court that some of the things that they were going to go after next were interracial marriage. She is a woman who proudly boasts that she's biracial. Like, I don't understand how you can stand behind that. Gay marriage, LGBTQ plus rights. And this is a woman who constantly is fighting and saying she is in support of that community. So that's why I'm like, so much of what she champions and what she promotes as being her identity or things that she self-identifies with are at jeopardy if this person gets into office. So for me, it is just mind-blowing. I don't get it.
Amber, you're more than welcome to come on the Jason Lee Show and sit down and talk about it. Would love to debate your views. Would love for you to bring whatever Trump ideas you have. I did ban Jocelyn from the show, my Jason Lee Show, because of you. Jocelyn, you're unbanned. You can come to the show. I mean, at this point, I don't know what's going on. And you're pushing the merch. You're driving around with the Trump chain, the Trump car. Like, you built a brand out of it. Like, I don't understand the ROI for you. That's why there has to be more. Like, I'm not even wearing a Kamala hoodie or shirt. I haven't even endorsed her because I'm still providing platforms to people who want to share their point of view. Like your guy, Trump. He's more than welcome to come on my show and have a conversation. I know we're talking. Roger, return the email. We're ready. But until then, I mean, I wish you well. And I pray that whatever your thought was on this investment gives you what you're looking for. Because I don't see this ending well. I just don't. Do you?
Mm-mm.
I don't. I think you're on the wrong side of history. And that's just my opinion. You're entitled to yours. You don't need to do a 7-minute post. If you want to do a 7-minute post, fine. I need more followers anyway. Okay. Have a good one. All right. That's it. It's time for thoughts and prayers. There's a lot of drama and heavy topics this week. So let's all just take a moment to breathe in the good energy and exhale the negative like Young Miami is doing. She's been dragged through these social media streets behind a man she loved and who appeared to be changing his ways upon meeting her. So can we fault her for having a different experience than his former partners, especially experiences that she had no knowledge of? That don't seem fair. And that's not to say that she or I are defending Diddy, but that's her truth. Now, her truth about JT definitely worked on projects without Miami, even though that was the same old sis holding her down while locked up. Or did we forget that? Well, Carisha didn't. Now, she may forgive, but baby, she ain't forgot nothing. And another person seeking forgiveness is Simone Biles' mom. But is it a little too late? Because all these damn celebrity couples fighting each other in the streets and in court, we're going to keep praying for all of y'all. Now, domestic violence is never okay, whether it's a man hurting a woman or vice versa. Either seek some therapy or just leave the whole relationship, which is something I had to tell myself when Mother MAGA started trumping me too hard. I mean, I called her out for her excessive support and she couldn't handle it. So now we're just going to agree to disagree on our views and wait for the results of this election. Now, at the end of the day has to end. And so does this episode of the Jason Lee Podcast. That is it. It's a wrap. Make sure that you follow me everywhere on social media and that you're tapped into my campaign because I'm running for Stockton City Council District 6 and I'm going to need all the votes. So if you're around Stockton, know somebody in Stockton or drive by, shout my name out the window, text a friend, tell a friend to pull up, join my campaign if you want. That's it. Rob, it's good seeing you. Healthcare Unlocked is locking or unlocking healthcare for all of you. Make sure you just get it. All right. If you want to text me, you can reach me at 310-388-6463. Right there. Bye.
The Jason Lee Podcast.